Another day, another puzzle mod. This time I actually busted out the Dremel for the first time in a few years, and one thing that I was really careful about this time was not to take too much plastic off with the Dremel, because it's not a very accurate tool. When I was first starting off making puzzles, I would always Dremel too deeply into the puzzle and end up having to rebuild with Epoxy Sculpt, and it's a pain. So I took it to, I gave it a good 3 or 4 millimeters away from where the final shape would be with the Dremel, and then I took rough sandpaper and just spent hours, sanding it down to make it so the sides were nice and flat and there weren't any deformities. So then when I took the Epoxy Sculpt, it would fit flushly in and there wouldn't be any dips. So then sanding the Epoxy Sculpt would be really easy. So once the Epoxy Sculpt was in, I also sanded it down the extra couple millimeters left, so it was down to final shapes. That meant that this puzzle I did not have to do any re-epoxy sculpting, which really saved on time. So it is definitely worth it to, spend the extra time with sanding it down with the sandpaper instead of the Dremel, just so, you don't have to waste time with Epoxy Sculpt. Once I had the puzzle down into final shape, I of course took a very fine grit sandpaper and sanded down all the pieces. So it was kind of a little bit of a pain because there are the pieces that kind of were inverted, so I had to take a file to kind of get a nice crease going. So anyways, yep, that's what it looked like once it was all nice and semi-shiny. Of course I used white Epoxy Sculpt, so I was definitely going to have to spray paint this puzzle. Now, my eyes have actually gotten a lot worse, so stickering was kind of a pain with all the tiny little stickers, but here's the finished result. I think it looks pretty good. I decided to go for a nice 2-color scheme. 2 colors kind of really emphasizing the the fact that it looks like 2 intersecting tetrahedrons. Another really cool thing about this color scheme is you can do 180-degree turns and it doesn't scramble. So it is kind of satisfying to just do those turns and not have any sort of repercussions. But of course, if you do the 90-degree turns, it does begin to scramble. This thing kind of does look like a Christmas ornament in a way with the red and green. I'm not actually sure why I went with red and green. I know red, but I think green is just random. So anyways, this is the puzzle. Thank you for watching. I'm considering doing maybe another one because I do have another old Speedcube 5x5 which I could use. I'm thinking about doing just a straight up tetrahedron. So yeah.